The 1983 Drivers' Champion was Hannu Mikkola, getting plenty of help from the all-conquering Quattro. Or did he? Isn't that just the way we remember it, the way it seemed? Mikkola competed in his first rally in 1963 and has been winning since '66, with a fair record of success in the 70s. During the 80s he continued to drive well, changing to Audi in '81 with the first four-wheel drive car in the championship. The Quattro was homologated in January of 1981. It was also the first four-wheel drive car to win a rally in the snows of Sweden 6 weeks later. By the end of this first year, victory on the RAC Rally had made Audi the makers' champion. 1983 was a difficult season, not least because the car was such a difficult thing to drive. It used to swerve a bit to the right when I hit the throttle, said Mikkola at the time, and I had to allow a yard either side for safety when I was really going like hell. This was point and squirt, except you had to gas it up a few seconds before you wanted to squirt. Driving the Quattro was an art form composed of skill, judgment, guesswork and luck. But it already had 6 championship wins and the maker's crown from '82, and now in its third season was a different beast, stronger, heavier and more powerful. Better still, its initial tendency to burst into flames with some regularity, it did it 10 times in the first 2 years, had now been cured. Worse, Lancia had the lightweight and super-fast 037 and Walter Röhrl. He won the opening round, Monte Carlo, but in Sweden, Mikkola led home a parade of Quattros, admittedly against only slight opposition. Portugal was a different story. Mixed tarmac and gravel, and Lancia very much in evidence. Mikkola fought all the way to the final stage to claim his win, well satisfied with the result and saying that he had never driven better. But he wasn't just driving. Legendary Teutonic efficiency proved to be just that, a legend not based in reality. The Quattro was inherently far less reliable than the Lancia. Blomqvist retired while leading here when the transmission failed. Worse, the team were far less efficient than the Italians. Roland Gumpert was naturally an engineer, not a team boss, and Mikkola found that it was best to take a more than passing interest in the mechanics and their work. Between them, they seemed to be having some effect. By the time of the safari in March, he was supervising their efforts, telling them what he wanted and then checking to see that they'd done it. This was no easy ride for a works driver surrounded by team specialists. Mikkola was driving the championship like a low-budget privateer, getting his own hands dirty at every service halt. In New Zealand, Mikkola and Mouton both retired with engine difficulties, and winner Walter Röhrl now led the series with 22 points in hand over second place Hannu Mikkola. The situation was redressed in Argentina, where Mikkola led an Audi clean sweep of the top 4 places and closed the gap to be just 2 points behind Walter Röhrl. That made the Thousand Lakes an all-important round of the series. Chasing the maker's crown, Lancia sent specialists. Röhrl wasn't there, but his teammates could have kept Mikkola from the points. But the Quattros were dominant. Just when it was all wrapped up, Mikkola's car burst into flames. That was stopped and the car was repaired. But with the clock ticking and penalty time just seconds away, it wouldn't restart from the service halt.
What is it now? Stand.
Mikkola made it with seconds to spare and went on to win the event. Unnoticed behind him, Juha Kankkunen scored his first championship points, finishing 6th in a Toyota. Mikkola's season was topped by second place on the Ivory Coast and the RAC to clinch the title. Röhrl had missed the Thousand Lakes and was beaten by Elaine in San Remo. Lancia took the maker's title, but Mikkola was the driver's champion. In his championship season, Hannu Mikkola stood on the rostrum 7 times. Not bad for a driver who'd started 12 events and finished 8. Along the way, he won 4 and was second 3 times and became the first driver to compete in 100 championship rallies.